Hey everyone, Pastor Chuck Betters coming to you from Ask Dr. Betters. You know, when you think about Christianity, it seems like everyone's all over the map, right? You know, you have Baptists, Presbyterians, Independents, Charismatics, Roman Catholics, Orthodox. I'm just naming a few. There's hundreds of denominations. There's just as many ideas as what it means to be a Christian when it comes to the specifics of Christianity. Hopefully we all hold in common the Apostles' Creed and the centrality of Jesus, but sometimes even that seems murky at best. So Christians are all over the map. I mean, many times if you go to a church that's outside of your comfort zone, maybe way outside your comfort zone, maybe a church overseas, you might see Christians worshiping and encounter Christians and you might think, man, I don't have anything in common with them. I think that's sad. I think that we need to find that commonality and we need to appreciate the way that others worship, but that's kind of beside the point. So, but when it comes right down to it, Christians really are all over the map when it comes to the way that the Christian faith is played out and worked out in people's lives. But there's one thing that we all have in common. I mean, there's more than one thing, but there's one aspect of the order of salvation, I should say, that we all have in common if you know Jesus. And that is that if you know Jesus, if you are a Christian, you share with every other Christian on planet Earth. You share in this step of salvation, this process that is called sanctification. Every single Christian that you know and don't know, every Christian on planet Earth is right now walking in their sanctification. They're not in the process of being adopted. They're not in the process of being justified or even effectually called, but they are in the process of sanctification. And this is something that will last from the time you come to know Jesus until the time you die. So what is it? I mean, again, it's this big theological term. We sing about it, we talk about it, we preach about it, but what is it? That's why I love the Westminster Shorter Catechism, because it gives us these brief definitions, these concise definitions where every single word matters. And so when we look at what is sanctification, the Westminster Shorter Catechism answers it this way. Sanctification is the work of God's free grace. So with the other aspects of our salvation, justification and adoption, it says that it's an act of God's free grace because it's a one-time act that happens. This time it says it's the work of God's free grace. It's something that's working in us, whereby we are renewed in the whole man after the image of God and are enabled more and more to die to sin and to live unto righteousness. So sanctification, there's this idea of sanctification of putting off the old man, Ephesians 3 and Colossians 4, putting on the new man, leaving behind sinful habits, changing. My dad, the original Ask Dr. Betters, I remember in a sermon one time, he said, if you're the same person that you were years ago, then there's something wrong. There's something wrong. That you may want to work out your faith with more fear and trembling if you're not changing, if you're not being sanctified. There was also a great pastor, John Stott. He said in his 90s, he was asked, what is his greatest struggle? And he said, sadly, my greatest struggle in my 90s is the same as it was when I was 18 years old. So both are true, that our struggles remain the same, but yet if we're not changing, there's also something wrong. So both are true. Sanctification, it's the act of being renewed in the whole man, the whole woman, after the image of God, of looking more and more like Jesus.